Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel in All Seasons Homestead. In case you're new, I'm Joanna. In today's video, I plan on taking you around inside my home and a little bit of outside my home and just talk about pregnancy at 40 years old and still homesteading. I know that may or may not be relevant to some of you. Either the age is different, or you may not be pregnant, or you may not homestead. But that's what I'm going to talk about today. I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to say. It's just going to be kind of a chat with me video, and I hope that you come along and enjoy the things that I'm going to be working on in this video. So right here, I am gathering some goldenrod, and I've been meaning to do this for a couple of weeks, but during pregnancy, I'm behind on many things, many tasks, but I at least wanted to get a little bit of goldenrod put to the side for future use. I don't have any left from last year, so some of the goldenrod I'm going to bundle and hang dry, and then the others I'm going to strip the leaves off and dry out and use for a tea, or at least have dried out ready for some salves or put in some oil. I believe goldenrod has a few uses, but I mainly use it to treat allergy symptoms. So I just try to have it mainly as a dried version so I can use it in a tea or make any recipe from it. So I'll talk about a few homestead or homemaking tasks in this video, but I'll also be talking about pregnancy, at least my pregnancy anyways. And yes, I'm almost 41 years old, and this is my 5th child. And this pregnancy is completely different than my other pregnancies. I don't think it has much to do with my age. I just think it mainly has to do with how much I already have on my plate and what I've been doing. At the beginning of this pregnancy, it was pretty tricky and hard. I don't want to complain because I really didn't have bad morning sickness compared to my first daughter. I mean, I was in bed for almost 3 months. It was horrible. I won't go into details, but it was pretty hard, and I could just barely move. So this pregnancy, I can still do all my tasks, but at the beginning, I just felt very weak and tired. I was still able to keep up with my tasks and homemaking and cooking dinner, cleaning up the house, but I was just very limited to the basics. I could just barely move. So now in my 2nd trimester, I have much more energy. Some days more than others. On a good day, I don't even hardly feel pregnant. Of course, I'm aware of it every minute of the day, but I just go. And other days I get a little bit more tired, and I think that's where I just need to respect my body. And I'm really trying to get a good night's sleep, because if I don't sleep well, then I feel worse the next day. So here I'm working on making some hot sauce. I'm not a fan of hot sauce from the store. If it is from the store, I just don't like the flavor at all. And it's actually very simple to make hot sauce. I love the flavor, and I always have an abundance of jalapenos and serrano peppers. So I let the peppers become red on the plant, and then I will pick them off. And it's a very simple process. You just cook the red peppers in some vinegar, and then when they're soft, you blend it. And then I'm going to strain all the seeds out, and then I'll put it back on the heat and add some salt and sugar and just cook it down a little bit, and then can it, process it for 10 minutes, I believe it is. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and make as much hot sauce as I can, so that way next year when I have the baby, I won't have to focus on making any hot sauce. I still really hope that I'll be able to can as much as possible next year with the baby, but when I have an abundance of something, I'm going to go ahead and can as much as possible just in case I don't have much time next year. But the other thing is, it's not just about the baby coming. It's also when you have a really good crop of corn or jalapenos or tomatoes. I know it gets a little boring to can the same thing for weeks, but I think it's better to get ahead and can more than what you need, because every year you don't know what's going to hit you. You could have a tornado take out your corn. You could have funguses on your tomato plants. I mean, there's always going to be a pest or something that takes out a crop, and you may not have any or very little. And so that's why I really try to can as much as possible of whatever crop I have. And this year I had a good crop of sweet corn, so I feel like we're okay on that for a while. One thing I did not get to, and I'm pretty disappointed, was my apple tree. We have a few apple trees, but they're still young, and one apple tree had a very good harvest, and I pretty much let it go to waste besides fresh eating. I was really wanting to use those apples and can a bunch of applesauce, because I figured by next year the baby would be old enough or soon to be old enough to start having applesauce. And then if I didn't have a good harvest or didn't have the time, I'd already have that there for her. But I am going to buy a bushel off of a friend of mine. She has many apple trees, so I'm still going to make some applesauce and some more apple cider vinegar here shortly. Everyone's homestead is completely different. Everyone has a different focus or interest or something that is more important to them than it may be to others. And even our own homestead has changed many times over the years. We try new things, we take things away, we add things. For a while, we were really big on goats. We had about 30 goats, and now we're down to 5. And although we do enjoy the goats, they clean our land, they still have a good purpose. It was just very time consuming to make sure that they're all okay. And they're very needy animals, I believe. And we feel that the garden produces more for our family. So that's where my main focus is. We always have 1 to 6 cows, and we always have our meat chickens and our egg chickens and things like that. But, you know, every few years you might have a different interest or want to try something new, or raise a cow one year and a hog another year. But I think I'm going to try to keep things simple next year and mainly just focus on chickens and the garden. And I think just with that is more than enough with the baby. So we'll see how that goes. One thing I'm going to do that I think will cut my time down a lot is use the black woven weed fabric. I think I've talked about it before. I'm going to put that in the rows and pretty much use that everywhere I can, because my focus really needs to be on planting and preserving, or if something gets a disease or a pest, I need to address that, and that can be very time consuming. So if it was just me, I don't mind being in the garden for 2 hours or 6 hours just weeding. I find it very therapeutic, but in reality, with a little baby, that's just not going to work. I need to get food on the table as quickly as possible. This area right here, I think I only planted, I don't even remember now, maybe 15, 20 cabbage and a few broccoli. I didn't go all out for fall broccoli or cabbage this year. I do have a lot of frozen broccoli still. I think I got about 90 heads. So that should be good enough for winter. And we will see how the spring planting goes. The baby should be born right about the time that I need to get the broccoli in the ground. So I just have to do the best I can. But pretty much the rest of the garden is already ripped out. We just need to clean up things like tomatoes, and the peppers are still going very strong, but our frost date is right around the corner. So those will be ripped out soon, and then we can get the ground tilled and prepped and ready for spring. Easier said than done, I know. And then, like I said, I really want to focus on maybe even this fall. I don't want the winter wind to take it away, but if I could go ahead and put down the fabric in most places, then that's one less thing I have to do before the baby's born. But I don't know. I think maybe I should wait on that, make sure I have my plots planned out correctly, and also I think that way the ground can just breathe a little bit better if we just till it and don't cover it. So we'll see. I'm just chatting along like I said I was going to, and just kind of tell you some of my goals and plans and ideas and see which ones will work and which ones won't work. But here I'm getting ready to make some yogurt. I do this once a week. I make 4 to 6 quarts of yogurt a week. And so I'm just taking off the cream that I will turn into butter and then get my yogurt started. This is another thing that all of our homesteads can look differently. My goal and a dream of mine is to have my own milk cow. And during my last pregnancy, I actually had one offered to me, but I had to turn it down. I just knew I couldn't handle another thing on my plate with a baby. And it turns out I was right. I made a good decision, but I haven't found one that I could afford, or I really would like one that's A2, and I haven't found one. But I am very blessed and thankful and content to have this raw milk from a friend of ours, and it comes from their homestead to ours. And even though it's not my own cow, it's still a skill that is learned and I can keep up with, which is making yogurt and sour cream and cheeses and all kinds of things like that. So here I am in the pantry putting some chicken broth away, and like I said, that is my main way of homesteading, is preserving what I've planted in the garden. Another thing that I do, and I'm also behind on because of pregnancy, is harvesting my honey. I got 1 box off, but I am very pleased with it. It's absolutely beautiful. I do 1 frame at a time. I just cut off the cappings, the wax on top, and then I let the honey drip down into the bucket through a sieve. And I have to do 1 frame at a time because I don't have any special extracting equipment. I just completely do it by hand. And I still have another 2 boxes out there to get off the hives. And that's another thing I'm behind on, is checking on my hives this fall. I know they're going strong last time I checked. And I did lose 1 hive from wax moths. And I was very, very upset about that. I guess the rain somehow made the wood swell, and it made an opening, and I believe that's where they got in and devastated my entire hive. But I still had 3 more left, and I definitely need help getting the honey off because they could be 50 pounds to 80 pounds a box. And during pregnancy, even not in pregnancy, I can barely lift that anymore. So I will check the bees, smoke the bees off the frames, and then have my husband help me carry the boxes, or we'll put it in a wheelbarrow and bring it up to the house that way. Here I'm just finishing the butter. I took the cream off of the milk, and then here's the end result is the butter. So I'm just going to work out the rest of the milk with it. I feel like with this pregnancy, I just need to have more patience because life is all about different chapters, and the timing of life can just change the things that you want to do or you want to accomplish. And I think no matter what we're doing in life, we just need to learn to have patience and enjoy the time that we're in, and being content and learning from the things around us. Like, I still have a lot of goals. There's a lot of things I want to do. There's trees I want to put in. There's new herbs I want to try. We all have different ideas and different plans, but we don't have to do it all at the same time. One thing my husband has been working on is a cattle chute. He's been building and working on a cattle chute so we can get our cows loaded up and brought to the butcher. And then I would really like to redo our bedroom before the baby gets here. Just keep it simple and tidy and give it a nice makeover, because I will probably be sitting in that room for many weeks with the baby. So those are some goals that we have. And then after that, we plan on just doing little things and enjoying the time with the baby when she comes in the winter time. Here I'm going to be water glassing some eggs, and this is a gallon jar, and you could see the lime buildup. I've been using this for years, and I've already ran out of last year's eggs, and so I thought that since my chickens are laying really good this fall, that I need to go ahead and start another gallon of some water glass eggs, so I can use those through the winter if needed. This is not really a how-to video by any means. It's just a chatting video and see what I'm doing kind of video. So that's why I didn't really tell you the whole recipe of the hot sauce. And here I'm not really talking in depth about water glassing, but I am weighing my lime. I think it's 1 ounce per quart. And I have it written down somewhere. If you don't want to weigh it, it's by tablespoon. I usually do it by tablespoon, but today I'm going to weigh the lime and mix it with the water and pour over the eggs. And one thing I like to do when I'm water glassing eggs is to get all the eggs from within 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, I will separate the eggs in different jars by week, just so your oldest eggs are not at the bottom and your newest eggs are not at the top. And here you can see that the lime and water makes it look like milk, but after a while it will all settle down, and then the lime will be very dark at the bottom and very clear at the top. And this is something my grandma used to do also. Usually in the month of October, we take a week off from school so we can focus on cleaning up the garden and getting hay for the animals and just getting the homestead ready for winter. My thought is I don't want to get behind on school, because when the baby's born, we will probably have to take 1 or 2 weeks off anyway. But I think we're going to have to go ahead and take a week off, because there are so many things to get done before winter. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video and following along with me and just listening to me chat. And please like and subscribe and comment below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.